And it's true in most places where our intentions are not about taking or exploiting the people we've come to see. In my experience, the Maasai are the unquestioned champions at making me feel welcome. From my first visit, their curiosity has matched my own, and their kindness to visitors is unsurpassed. The other question I get with some frequency has to do with my use of the word privilege. After documenting many natural and unnatural crises, including post-earthquake Haiti, Darfur during the genocide, Burma during the dictatorship, and a few visits to Afghanistan since the 2001 NATO invasion, I've heard myself describe my visits as a privilege quite often. It is often a privilege because I grow from my experiences with other cultures. With some reflection, I also know that I, like many Western aid workers and photojournalists, sometimes use the word privilege to describe our experiences as if to shake off some of the guilt we may feel by simply having the luxury of a reasonable income or the opportunity to get on an airplane and leave at the end of a dangerous assignment. Is it a privilege to do the work? Yes. And it's often a privilege to be able to go home, or even to have a home to go to. The guilt that comes from the privilege of leaving a crisis zone is an age-old part of the journalistic profession, and we all deal with it in our own way. For me, there's another kind of privilege I try to convey in public talks, and it has nothing to do with leaving behind a war zone or a natural disaster. It's the opposite, in fact. It has to do with the privilege that comes from gaining someone's trust, honoring their story, and being accepted by people from another culture. That's where Ewaso village comes in. Is it a privilege to visit my Maasai friends with regularity? Yes. Is it a privilege to sleep in a simple bed covered by mosquito netting at Paul Lebaneo's humble thatched roof lodge, and to use a cold water shower in the morning? Yes. Is it a privilege to drive bumpy single-track roads to document a remote schoolhouse or two-room medical clinic? Yes. The privilege I experience each time the single-engine plane touches down on the gravel airstrip is their acceptance of a tall, blonde-haired white guy from Wisconsin and their willingness to include me in their lives. But as close as I've become to this community, I'm not a member of it. I'm a friend. When it comes to Maio and Kandari, Modesta, Robin, George, and Letwalai, we dive deeply into sharing updates on our families and loved ones, our sorrows, accomplishments, and news of the day. But I will never know what it means to undertake the rite of passage and become a Maasai warrior. I will never know what it means to grow up as a Maasai woman challenged by male patriarchy, forced circumcision, or abandonment. I'll never know what it's like to finish primary school in a cement block building and to take up herding cows, goats, and camels by the time I reach puberty. This book reflects my observations of their community and my desire to share the beauty, drama, joy, and pain reflected in their stories, lifestyles, and beliefs. The Maasai and their Samburu neighbors are among the very few tribes of East Africa that still live off the land, still maintain many of their ancestral values, and in many cases still honor their nomadic traditions. Among my favorite traits of the Maasai are their love of music and dance, their easy laughter, and their highly evolved sense of whimsy and play. My Maasai friends enjoy being silly, and they love practical jokes, but they're usually based on kindness, not meanness. Like the Andean philosophy of Aini that I wrote about in my book, Enough to Go Around, the Maasai will share their sandwich without thinking about sharing their sandwich. They are not paying it forward. Sharing is a part of being. Having something isn't at the expense of someone else. It's simply having. As I was building friendships and sharing experiences in Ewaso village, a book of poetry wasn't on my radar. On each visit to the community, I created photo after photo, documented the kids in school, built relationships with teachers, the school cook, the principal, the clinic nurse, safari guides, and jewelry makers. But poetry, Then,